Yeah, that oil, the oil is actually important in Ayurvedic treatment. It has many purposes, but one of it is that not all the toxins are soluble in the water. So you can't get rid of them just a normal way, by sweating or by drinking water. You can't get rid of them. You need to use oil because some of the toxins are soluble and removable only with the help of the oil.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's cool to know. So I wanted to ask you one quick question too.
Sure.
I won't get into it, but I just wanted to know, do you know anything about crystals? Yes or no?
From the Eastern tradition perspective, a little bit. I know how they are connected to Vedic astrology. They are used according to your birth chart, you know, because different crystals are responsible for a different vibration, and you can use them as a way to heal the body, some aspects of it, or you can use them as a way to improve some of the qualities. But there are other techniques and methods in yoga that are easier to use and that are more certain to work than crystals, because it's kind of it's not easy. It's not easy to get someone who really knows how to read the astrological birth chart. It's very rare, and it's not easy. Someone who is really authentic and has a knowledge, and then you can. Yeah, it is complicated, and it has so many layers that you can read through, and you need to have a feeling for it. It's not just that you can learn it. Yes, you can learn the basics, but then it's the second part that you probably had to do something in your many past lives to be able to understand it. If you believe in that reincarnation, it says that if you are very good in something in this life, you have done many lifetimes to learn in this area, to be really proficient in that. So sometimes it's overused, maybe not so in our Western world, but especially people that go to India, they want to use these crystals and healing qualities of these crystals according to birth chart. And there are many people that just sell the crystals for a lot of money. So you can buy different stones, but if it's not connected to the real purpose, it's not so helpful.
I understand. Thank you.
Christina actually studies Vedic astrology for now, I don't know, 2 years already. Yeah.
Can she do a birth chart?
Only we do it with the people that go with us, the one-on-one Vedic counseling, at least for half of the year. Because first, it's a big responsibility to give someone a reading, because then if that person doesn't understand that it's just his or her responsibility in the life to behave according to it, he can start avoiding certain things that he knows. For instance, that, okay, in this lifetime I brought this kind of karma, so for me relationships will be really difficult. And if you explain this, that person would probably try to avoid this aspect in the life instead of involve more in that and try to overcome it. So first you need to explain these things really carefully.
Yeah, I agree. You made it.
Hi.
One more?
Please. We have enough time. We will do Yoga Nidra because there was a wish for Yoga Nidra. So we will just do a little bit of movement. But first I wanted to ask you, do you know, have you ever heard about Carl Gustav Jung?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever heard about a person called Carl Gustav Jung, psychologist.
Sounds familiar, the name. Carl who?
Carl Gustav Jung. He's from Switzerland. Okay, you call it Jung, but it's German name, so it's Jung.
C-A-R-L.
Yeah. Okay. But you read it Jung, but it's a German name, so it's not Jung. Psychiatrist, psychoanalytic. He's really.
I love him.
Thanks to him, we have deep psychotherapy and depth psychology.
Yes.
And he actually took many of these concepts from the Eastern traditions like yoga, like Tantra, like Hinduism, and also from China, from Taoism. And many of his concepts like subconscious or consciousness and personal unconsciousness.
And he was the first one to really delve into consciousness.
Yes, yeah. And all these archetypes like anima and animus, like female energy in men and the opposite in women, and also shadow and persona, and all these things, they are actually coming from...
Shadow work in
Yeah,
the child and
yes, and that's coming from yoga. Yes. Even at the beginning, he named these concepts according to Hindu names, like Shiva and Shakti. That was anima, and animus was Shiva and Shakti.
So the older yoga philosophy already was practicing the things about consciousness?
Sure. The whole yoga is about return back to a unified consciousness.
Yes.
That's the purpose.
Yes.
And already 10,000 years ago, they already knew how to do that. That's why we have all these steps.
We never listened to them.
He was. Jung was. Because we think that all these old traditions were primitive and stupid, and it was just superstition, and also with shamanism, which is our oldest spiritual tradition in the world that's still alive. And actually yoga is rooted in shamanism, the proto-shamanism or proto-yoga, because the rituals were the same or similar that time.
Shamanism much older than yoga?
Yes, it is. Shamanism is the oldest living spiritual tradition. But be careful if you... so today's yoga practice is changing to a lecture. Sorry, I will just quickly finish.
No, it's fascinating.
Some people are trying to get back to things that worked before, because today's world is so strange and extreme in many respects that they lost trust what the society is doing. So they try to find the spirituality or the answers in some previous traditions like shamanism or paganism or Egyptian mysteries. But all these traditions were working in a specific time and specific structures of human consciousness. And this consciousness is not here anymore, or not in this... It's here because we all have that in us, but our consciousness evolved into another layer, and we can use much better tools how to work with the consciousness than is shamanism. Actually, if you do these rituals from shamanism now, you are it's regression. You are returning back to something which will not work for you. You are getting more primitive. You are not getting more evolved. So all these works like men circles and women circles in the nature, and shamanic rituals, dancing around the fire, ayahuasca and others, this is kind of a regression. You are not improving.
Because isn't it the same thing? Isn't it trying to do the same thing and bringing us to consciousness?
Yes, but we are in a different stage of evolution of human consciousness. And you are trying to use the tools that were working 1,000 years ago, where our consciousness as a humanity was completely different. Now we've evolved a little bit more to something higher, more complex. And you are using the tools...
I understand. So
But some tools are universal, and some traditions developed in time and improved and using the tools that are originating in that ever-present origin.
So with the level of consciousness we have now, what is the best tradition to learn from?
The best way is to learn from more of them.
All of them.
Not doesn't need to be necessarily from all of them, but you can have an inspiration from many different traditions. You can use Christian mysticism, you can use Sufism, you can use yoga. Yoga has the advantage that it has also tools, practical tools, not just theoretical tools, and they developed through the time. And they still have that living tradition. They haven't disappeared through the days. So this is one of the, and you can use psychology, you can use literature, you can use poems, you can use meditation. There are many tools that you can use. But some of the rituals are really not so much helpful these days, because we have already overcome that stage of the human consciousness. Let's practice a little bit.
Okay. Sorry, this is so interesting.
Yeah, if you ask me these things, I keep talking and keep talking. Sorry for that.